Good afternoon, friends. New project on the bench. In fact, it's one of two. A long-time client, returning client, has bought his and his son's guitars in, two of which this is the first one on the bench. And I'll show you. And is this Mick Thomson signature, is it? Avenged sevenfold guitarist, is he? I don't know. It's an MTM-20, light as a feather. No good to me. I like heavy guitars. He was going to bring this in the other week, but he didn't because his lad wanted to get the right strings, so he's had to go and buy a hybrid set of strings, or he's bought all individual strings. Probably cost him 14 quid for these strings because they're all, well, you've got an 11, doesn't he play 11, 56? Go 11, 15, 18, 28, 38, and it should be 52, that. 56, that's right, we're on Mick Thomson set. It jumps from a 38 to a 56, that's odd, isn't it? Like in a bike cable next to a cheese wire. But that's what he has, that's what the kids like. So that's why he's having. He says, the neck seems a bit bendy, I've got no idea whatsoever what he meant about that. Now I remember I had one of these in before, I thought I were a tremolo. That is not a tremolo, that is just a bridge. Made to look like a tremolo. It's got fine tuners on it and all that gibble gabble. Set up completely wrong, I can see, because all these fine tuners are all at different heights. We need them all in the middle, so it's going to need a bit of work. Anything this needs, he says, just do it. Throw the book at it, he says. So if it needs a fret level, get to fret level. So that is it. So what can I see wrong with it? Well, my next filthy fingerboard, it's got finger grime and sweat all over it. Tremolo's set wrong. Not a tremolo, the fine tuners, they are in a bit too much, so strings need setting up for that. Neck is more or less dead straight on there. I'd like to see a bit of relief in that. Tuning wise, I bet it's going to be somewhere around drop B area. I don't know, let's have a listen. No idea, I've never tuned by ear, me. Though, oddly, when I stick strings on a guitar, we normally bang on in tune. Saying that, when I've been fiddling about with guitars for nearly 40 years, you're going to quite get a knack for it, aren't you? Oh, it's got one of them stupid Ibanez things in there that goes up that road. Okay, let's grab my tuner. That's the guitar case just fell over behind me. So, drop C maybe? I don't know, let's have a look. It's a B. So, this will be a, it's an F sharp, so it is drop C sharp, isn't it? No, hang on. We're down 3, so we're going E, D, C sharp. We're going to drop C sharp, oddly. C on the treble string. C sharp. So we'll drop C sharp there. Yeah, there you go. So drop C sharp on that. So it always sounds a bit dull unplugged. I'm going to plug it in, have a little tinkle, see what I think to it. I've got my PB6505 there, look. So that's going to sound fantastic through that. I'm going to get some crunch on that and we'll give it a little go. Neck wise, just have a look at the amount of relief in there. Look at the action. Should be 24 and 3. Is it 24 and 3/4? Oh, hang on a minute. 25 and a half scale length, long scale length, that's good. Yeah, about 0.25 mil there, 7th fret, I'd say, 6th, 7th fret, which is standard. It's what I always set it to anyway. It wants to clean more than anything, this does. Yeah, a little bit more relief in that than I normally would like, but we are tuned down. So I do like to go a little bit more on a down tuned guitar, so I'm probably going to leave that. Going to look at the action at the 12th fret on the bass side. I'd like to see, on something like this, I'd like to see gain toward 2mm. And it's just over 2mm, so we can go a bit lower on that. We've got 1.5 on the treble side. I thought we'd come a little bit lower. It's getting on for 2 1/4 at the 12th fret. I'd like to see that a little bit lower, so we'll drop that down to 2, I think. Treble side's absolutely fine. Radius, is it 14-inch radius on these? I'd have thought it'd be about 14. It's an Ibanez 14, is it 16 even? I don't know. Unfortunately, to be that flat. I'm thinking possibly a 14. Duncan pickup, so I'll be going Duncan Black, Seymour Duncan Black Arts. I've got Seymour Duncan Black Arts on my guitar. That's not 14, I don't know. Might be a 12. Let's just have a look down this end here. The radius nicely on the bridge, that's pretty good. So that's okay. Let me just have a look, see if we're a 12. I'll have to do some checking. Seymour Duncan Black Arts, I like these pickups. Like I said, I've got these on my Edwards Explorer and they're fantastic. That's not 12 either. Let's go and check the radius on this. It's looking flatter. It's looking to be flatter than that. Okay, this is telling me it's a 16-inch radius. I do like a flat radius. That is saying 16-inch radius to me, except at this end. Let's have a look here. Give me a second, I've got someone at the door. No idea where I was on the video, but let's just resume where we're at. Anyway, just checking the radius again at the bridge. On a 16 with a 16-inch radius gauge, that is bang on. So, doesn't seem like it needs a lot. I would have thought action needs to be a little bit lower, maybe take a little bit of relief out of there, set the intonation and look at the frets. Certainly clean up the fingerboard and polish the frets. So as it is at the moment, I am thinking just a standard setup on this. But we'll see where we are. So I'm going to give it a little play. I'm going to come back, we're going to get the strings off, we're going to look at the frets and see where we are from there. So I've plugged it and played it. What's it like? Well, horrible. Not that there's anything wrong with the guitar, because there isn't. It's just the strings have not been stretched. That's why it's going out of tune. It just goes out of tune as soon as you play it. That's because the strings weren't stretched in. And that's why these tuners are not set straight across. You need to stretch the bugger out of these strings where you're locking nut. Then once everything's all set and you've fine-tuned it, you're hardly going to move these. These all want to be in the middle. So you've got the same amount of adjustment up and down. So what we normally do is we bring them up to the top. Oh, it's coming out 10 mile further than any of the others, look. But we bring them right out, and we want them all set just about in the middle. So these just about here is the middle. Set them all around about the middle there, look. And then that's where we want to be tuning in now. We want to be tuning all the strings in, get them in tune with them flat. Then we can adjust up or down. So we'll look at that in a bit. So right, what we're going to do is, we're going to give this a setup. But what I want to do really is I want to check the frets. And to check the frets, we're going to need to set strings off. I'm going to do that just by take these locking clamps off. Whether that was a Floyd Rose or not makes no difference. Pretty much the same procedure to set everything up. What we're going to do with these, we're going to bit of a pain to string these because you're doing everything the wrong way around. So you do it, you put first string on first rather than this string. It's just bloody awkward. I'm all about functionality, me. Let's get this loose enough so I can just cut them. And we're going to go straight, so we're not going to show these strings any mercy at all. Grab pliers, buy some cutters. I'll just grab my cutters and we're just going to nip these. We pull them up so we don't cut anything we don't want to cut. What I do like about Ibanez guitars is this fantastic little gadget here. It helps you get a truss rod, you just need to swing it out of the way and that's it. You just swing it out of the way and you're straight in at the truss rod look. And there you go. And these strings again I can do just the same here. Just cut them at this end. And that's the strings off. Just get these wound up and in the bin. $11.56, but you're jumping from a 38 to a 56. Very, very odd. But it's good for pinching on one, it's mine. Right, so that's them done. Just whip these out of the way. And the reason I wanted the strings off pretty quick is normally your neck should be straight when you remove the string tension. That's how it's supposed to work, because that way it gets you the right amount of relief, in my experience, or it gets you very, very close. So that neck ought to be straight. And bear it in. One thing I'm going to do while we're here is just check that these nut screws are in tight, because you'll be having all sorts of problems if they're not, and they could have done me a little 32th return there, but that's fine. Right, we're going to look at the neck. Okay, a little bit of back bow there, quite happy with that. That's pretty good. You'd expect that because with this being down tuned but having heavier strings. Right, okay, you're looking at 4mm, are you? Yep, 4mm. Oh, nice T-bar, I always use T-bar. Right, okay, a little bit of relief in there, so yeah, that's good. So with the truss rod basically off, the neck is dead straight. That's exactly how it should be. I just like to get it nipped, so it's just not that loose. It's just get to where it's nipping just there and just give it tiny. There you go, and that should be straight, and that is straight. That's fantastic, happy with that. So let's have a look at the frets. Charge a little bit extra for this because faffing about with fine tuners and all that takes you a bit longer than it would normally. So on standard setup this is going to be 60 quid. Just check the frets. Here's one high one. This really just needs to clean, it needs the string stretching in properly. There's two. Five or less. There's three. That's three, 2 areas on that. 5 or less will be alright to get it in an intensive setup. So that's 3 into it. There's 4. 5. No. 6. So I'm going for a fret level. It's going to be full fret level on this. 7. 8. Yeah, full fret level. 5 I could just about do by spot leveling. Here's 9. That's mega high. I wonder if we put a low one in at the 24th. So I've got 10 high frets there. So we need a fret level whole lot. So that nut's going to come off. Whizzing off now. All the bits that come off we'll put in the pot. We always have a pot. Do you know that? In case we need to a toilet. Not really, that's just a bad joke. Fret level on this. 120 quid. I'm not going to charge extra now for the setting that up because just include that in there. So complete fret level with the setup, £120. Could take the neck off to do that, make it a little bit easier. I think I'm going to take the neck off that. Pickups just say Duncan on them, they don't say Seymour Duncan. I'm still assuming they are Seymour Duncans. They might not be black arts, might be something else. We do a couple of different types of active pickups. I'll go and check in a minute and find out. So yeah, fret level on that. I'm going to take the neck off. I'm going to put this one aside for a minute. Let's grab a pot. Oh, there's a spider in there. What are you doing there? Piss off. Get out. Twat. So, pot. The pot I was on about. Magic pot. All the bits in the pot. La-di-da-di-da. So that's the pot. That's pots in there. I'm not going to remove my neck yet because I'm going to put this back in its case in a minute because I've got another guitar to appraise just so I can let the owner know what each one is. Look at the straps. That strap was a bit loose. I tightened that strap pin there. All parts of the process, strap pin tightened there. I'm just going to check various other things. All part of. I've already checked the electrics. There's no scratching on the pots or no clicking or anything untoward there. Just want to check the machine head bolting holes there. Now these are loose. Tighten these up, just give them a nip. That was a bit little crikey, mate. Just nip these up, look at these, how loose these are, look. People always forget about these, they never tighten these. Just nip them up, you don't want to be digging into the paint. So yeah, part of the setup this is. That one. There you go. I do have some of these. These are lefties, aren't they? I have some of these tuners for sale, actually. Exactly the same as those. Anyway, there you go. So I'm going to put this one away for a short time. I'm going to go and appraise the other one. Let's just have a look at. Just remove these string ends. And we can move on to the next guitar. Always just tighten it back up, otherwise you'll lose that string retainer in there, string saddle, whatever it is. Start dropping bits out of tremolos and you're not going to find them again. I want to find out why these two don't come up as high as all the rest on them. Is there a reason for that, or is it just the way it's set up? So, fret level on this one. I think there's going to be a fret level on the Strat as well. I did say it needed quite a bit of work. So these two are going to be a couple of days on these two. A day each, I think. $2 days, 250 quid. I don't look at what I'm going to earn in that day. It's just nice to have an idea where you're going to be. If I really had a go at it, I could get them done in a day, pair on them. So let's see how we are. So why don't these come all the way up then? Answers on a postcard to Birmingham, B12JP. So was that opportunity knocks or something? I think you remember when he was faffing about. So I'll have a look at this tremolo online. Go and have a look at the doodahs on it in a minute. And but that's it. This one's going to go away for a short time. Probably do a fret level. I will do it today. I'll probably have to go and do it on a night bench over there under the night light because there's not a great load of daylight left for 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to move on to the next one. Come back to this one shortly. So the Mick Thomson neck. I've just got it bolted to a piece of MDF. Well supported underneath. All padded up so nothing's going to move, and I'm just setting the truss rod dead straight. Not the truss rod dead straight, the neck dead straight. Did I say earlier Mick Thomson was in Avenged Sevenfold? I'd have been completely wrong. He's a Slipknot guitarist. Now, I don't know anything about Slipknot. Not my cup of tea at all. I don't like people that wear masks. I like people that are real and they show their own faces. It's like me. My online persona is exactly as the same as my real life persona. I'm Victor Kroll, online or off it. I don't wear a theatrical mask. I don't pretend I'm something I'm not. That's just me. Someone actually slated me on my YouTube channel the other day for not knowing who Mick Thomson was on my old video I did of a Mick Thomson guitar. Can you not know the artist of whose guitar you're working on? Like I give a toss. I don't give a toss who Mick Thomson is. I don't really care for signature guitars either. But anyway, back to the topic in question. So, setting the truss rod with my T-bar adjuster, just making sure my neck is dead straight. A little bit, there's natural backbone in this neck with the truss rod really loose, so I've had to tighten it the opposite way just to get it to go dead straight, and now it is straight. So I'm going to level the frets as they are. I'm not going to strap anything down or clamp anything. I'm not going to go across with a file. I'm just going to hit it with the leveling beam, and I'm going straight on with the heavy duty Crimson Guitars leveling beam, precision straight edge, 240 grit on the bottom, 400 grit on the top. I'm going to hit it with a 240 grit. And I'm just going to level those frets. I'm going to need a permanent marker. I couldn't be bothered to move the camera, by the way. That's why you're just zoomed in from great distance. You know, you don't always. I know the resolution's not going to be fantastic because I am zoomed in, but I couldn't be bothered to move the camera and the standard set it all up. Doing these videos takes quite a long time. Even though I don't edit anything, I'll just stick pieces on. If there's any mistakes in it, I'll leave them in. But today, I just want to leave it there because I've got to knock off early today. It's Tuesday. I've got a group that my wife and I are part leading at church tonight, an online Zoom meeting. It's an alpha course, basically introducing people to who Jesus is and how God fits into their lives if they want to know more about the truth of that. It's an 11-week course. We're at week 7 this week. And we love doing it, it's brilliant. But anyway, straight on with this. Like I say, I'm not going to hit it with a file. I'm just going to use the beam till the frets are level. We're all marked up. And I'm just going to let the beam do the work. I'll press a little bit more at this end because there's more frets, so you're going to be doing twice as much work. But I'm not really pressing down with any great pressure. Just want to remove all the pen and get all the frets silver topped. And it's going to take a while because some frets are higher than others and we need to level a lot of the frets. We'll let the leveler do the work. See where we are. We've still got a pen in these areas down here, so quite a bit to go yet. I'm going to hold the neck because it was moving slightly. Like I say, let the leveling beam do the work. This way I know I'm going to get a consistent level across all of the frets because I don't stop till all the pen's gone. And we seem to be more or less there. We've moved quite a bit of material off the top of these frets. I'm going to go across with a fret rocker, just check the level. I will try and keep out of the way as much as I can, but it's important that I actually check properly, more than it is for you to get a good angle of camera. Don't forget these videos are for the client and for my records. They are not for entertainment and they are not how-to videos as such. This is looking pretty good. So yeah, certainly removed quite a bit of material off some of them. And they seem to be pretty level. By the way, I found out this guitar had been to Rich Tone Music for a setup. It charged 40 quid. And £7.90 for a set of strings, £47.90 restrung. And let me tell you about the setup, it was atrocious. Strings hadn't been stretched in for starters. The setup itself was pretty much okay, but the strings hadn't been stretched, so the bridge, the tuning was not right and it wouldn't stay in tune, and it won't do. You've got to stretch as much as you can out of the strings before you clamp them down and lock them off. Just the way it is. Anyway, we're going to pen these up again, we're going to level again. Keep going till I'm happy that we have a proper level. That was, I've been across a fret rock with a fret rocker, that was nice. There's nothing rocking. I'm just going to go again. This is probably easier of the two guitars I've had from Glenn, because the frets aren't too low. Nice big jumbo frets on this. But this is a 24 fretter. So if I'm polishing with 7 bits of paper and 1 steel wool, I'm actually doing 24 more frets, because I've got used 21 frets on the Strat, 24 on this. 3 times 8 is 24, 25, 24 more frets. Anyway, there you go. Again, sticking with the 240 grit. And that's it. All of the frets are silver, so the frets are level. So what I'm going to do now is, again, more pen. I'm going to pick one out of my non-permanent markers. Nice purple one there. And I'm going to go across with a 400 grit, which will reduce or remove a lot of these deeper scratches. Make it easier to polish them up later. Nice shade of purple this. This time going across with the 400 grit, the finer of the two grits. 400 this side, nice and smooth. And this shouldn't take too long. All the pen is gone. I'm just taking a little bit more off this side, because there's not as much off this side as there was on the base side, so just evening things up. And there we are, all done. You can't see from there, trust me, all of these frets on our silver tops. I'm going to go across with the fret leveler again. I don't remember where I've put it. It's got to be here somewhere. There you go. Now I already know that these frets here, this end fret is lower, so if this one's still rocking, that's absolutely okay, because that's the last fret. It doesn't matter if that's lower, and it's pretty much level. It's a bit lower on the sides, but that's fine. So we're going to be checking all of these frets for rock now. I will bring this over to the camera soon when I have removed the neck from the MDF, because we don't need a bolster to the MDF anymore. I'll show you straight to the frets, but these are absolutely beautiful. We are now level. That's fantastic, really pleased with this. Like I say, leveling the frets It's not time consuming at all, it's quite easy. It's easy part of it. So recrowning doesn't take too long, not with today's methods and today's files, specialist diamond files like I use. The files I use on these jobs, the two files I use mainly cost me about 200 quid. One was 75 quid, one was 125 quid. But worth buying. I probably need to replace them once a year. So 200 quid once a year for as many fret jobs as you do is absolutely fine. But that's bang on, those frets are absolutely level. Job well done. I'm going to get it set up, ready for crowning, and I'll bring the camera back in a little bit closer so you can see how we go about that. Before I do any of the crowning, I will be taping up the fingerboard, so I may as well bring you back in once I've got all of that done. So I just wanted to give you a close-up of how the frets look now they've been levelled, and you'll see that they have flat tops. And you'll see that the tops now, where they were crowned before, they're now flat. And on some of the frets, it's quite a wide area of flatness, like this one for instance. A little bit more than on that one. And that's because some of them needed more height reducing than others. Some of them didn't really need any height reducing. So the ones with the thin bits have had the smallest amount of fret tops removed, but now all of them will be smooth and flat. There will be no divots in any of the frets, and they are level across the whole length of the neck. And now it's off the jig. I'm going to just move the camera, focus it just on the neck like so. You're a little bit closer in there, and that's okay. And we're just going to go across with a fret rocker again, just to check everything. Now you can see where the divots were on this one, but there are no divots anymore. And we're just going to go across and just check that we are level along the whole length. No rattle anywhere. And that's a job well done. We're going to move on to the next part, which is recrowning. By recrowning, I'll explain with the hands in a minute. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Most of you know what I'm talking about, but for those of you that don't, what we've done is we've flattened the tops of the frets, and they were rounded before. Imagine the shape of a D letter on its side with the flat part on the ground. So you've got like a dome shape, and basically we need to re-dome the cross section of these frets. It's called crowning. And we use a combination of, nowadays we use a combination of special files to do the job. In the old days we used a 3-corner file. We would have done it all by hand. It would have taken a lot longer. A lot more rewarding in a way. I miss using the 3-corner file, but you know, saving time and that. So let me explain. Looking this way, this edge is called the crown. It's like a D on its side. And what we've done is we've flattened them that way. So where we have that flat part, we need to recrown along the lengths of the fret. So I'm going to do that with, like I say, with a couple of files shortly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this everything set up. I need to tape off all of the fret areas, or I need to tape off the fingerboard, just leave the frets exposed so we can work just on the fret top. So I'm going to get that done. Once that's done, I'll bring you back in a little bit closer and I'll explain in a little bit more detail. So, crowning. Just going to mark the tops of the first 3 frets up. Permanent marker. What we're looking to do is we're looking to leave a thin line down the centre of those frets by removing material from the edges. But we don't just want to remove material willy-nilly or randomly. We need to remove at a certain angle to rebuild that crown, to rebuild this shape on the top going this way. So we need to remove material from the edges, and we have a fantastic file for doing this, and it's called a Z file. It's by Stumac. If I turn it to, it's a diamond file, so it's got diamond filings in there. Cuts really smoothly. It has a long cut closest to you and a short cut closest to me. The short cut's a steep angle, The long cut at the bottom is a narrow angle. When you turn it 180, and it's totally opposite. A sharp short cut on the bottom now, and a long slim cut on the top, or shallow cut. And what this does is, this will not hit the top of the fret, but it will remove material from the sides. The long cut will remove a shallow, and the short cut will remove deep. So we're going to rebuild that crown from both sides. You totally understand what I mean. And I'm going to let the file do the talking. And it's just a matter of going over. And we're going to be looking for a nice black line down the centre of the fret. Flip it 180. And it's going to make the opposite cuts. And there you see a nice black line down the middle there. That is the perfect width. It's exactly what I want. Now the edges will not be perfectly smooth yet. Don't worry about that, we'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to go on to the next one, show you again. Flip the file. But it will not cut the top, which means we're not reducing height, we're just shaping the edges. It means the height, the level we've maintained across the whole length of the fingerboard is still going to be there. We're not altering the height of any of the frets. Now what we do is, once we have created that crown, it is not a perfect crown just yet, and what we're going to do is we're going to use a different file. And this is a profiling file. Again, it's a diamond file, but this is actually cut to a crown shape like that. And I use this just to remove any inconsistencies and just to round everything off. Just a few strokes with that one, and I can come in at a slight angle and a slight angle again, just to remove anything that's not quite right there. Going on to the next one, exactly the same again. Angle, angle, just remove any inconsistencies. We still have those black lines down the centre. It means we've not removed any height, and if I check with the fret rocker, no rock anywhere. We've maintained the height, but these two frets are now perfectly crowned. I'm going to crack on, get the other 22 done. It's going to take me a short while. Once that's done, we can come back and we can start to get these frets all polished up. Back to the grindstone, polishing frets. And we're polishing with 7 different grits of sandpaper, 400 grit through to 2000. We've got 400, 600, 800, 1000, 1200, 1500, 2000. 400 grit is a lot more, it's a thicker paper, it's a harder sandpaper, and I only really use this just to remove the deep scratches from the tops of the frets. So I don't really polish as such with this first grit, it's just removing the scratches that are all this way. And this will just remove, I'll see how I get my thumb on there. And this does a fantastic job of removing those scratches. And it's like a pre-polish. And all I have to do is just whiz that way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do an in-depth proper polish using the right papers. So that's just removing those scratches, and what we need to do is, the finer grits we go with, the more we refine the fret. So for instance, we're going to go with 600, that's going to remove some scratching and smooth them off. Then we're going to go with an 800, then 1000, 1200, 1500, 2000. 2000 being a really, really fine grit. And I've got 24 frets to do with one piece of paper. Really easy. It may not look a lot on there, but trust me, it is. And I've took the scratches mainly out of it. And all we're going to do is we're going to go straight over, take one piece of the paper. Out of this section here, I'll get 8 frets done. Out of the middle section, I'll do 8 frets. And out of the last section, I'll do the last 8 frets. The 24 fret neck. And it's just really easy. We're just going to go across the top. Like so, come the far side or near side as you're looking at it, then we come over the far side. In fact, we could do the inside of that one and the inside of that one at the same time, just by holding the paper there and going there. And that's that first one done. Second one, we're going to move across a little bit other side of the paper, across the top, come on the inside, go on the outside, and again. That's it. And we're going to do this with all the grits of paper until we bring them off to a lovely scratch free fret, and we'll do the final polishing with some steel wool, which will bring them up to a beautiful, beautiful shine. So it's going to take me a while this. Should be wearing a glove. I normally wear gloves when I do this, so I'm going to get the gloves on in a minute. But that's the first 3 done with the first grit. I've got 6 more grits to go, 7 more grits on most of them. I'll put that one back there, finish off, get off with this, get the scratches removed. It's going to take me a while. It's going to take me, could take me a couple of hours, so I'm going to crack on, get that done. But once it's done, we'll finish off with steel wool, peel the tape off, get the neck back on the guitar. So I've just finished polishing the frets on this neck. We've used 7 grits of sandpaper, 400 through 2000, finished off with superfine steel wool, and we are about to do the best bit. I'll just show you the frets while I'm here. Look at those, absolutely stunning. And we're doing the best bit now, which is peeling off the tape. And you'll see why we put this strip underneath. And it really does stick better than it ought to lacquer. It's supposed to be low tack tape, it's not that low tack. I have in the past pulled flakes of paint off this tape before. Shouldn't really do that, but then again, there's always going to be loose flakes now and again on guitars, and we have to watch out for that. But anyway, I was saying this makes it easier. Imagine how difficult it would be without this strip underneath. It would be really difficult. And this just gives us a start. And there you go. And now we're getting to it, look. And there you go. We've now got the start we need. We can just take all this off a lot easier. It's more awkward for me because I'm actually doing it to show the camera. It'd be a lot easier if I had this neck laid down. But anyway, see how much more easy it is. And this is the best part of the job, the reveal. You can imagine how these frets are going to pop once I get some oil on the fingerboard, and the grain pops as well. So that is the main gist of the tape off. I can bundle all that up there. And I will wipe this down with some naphtha later on to remove any residue, but there you go. That is frets all polished. So the level, the recrowned and the polished, and they look, yeah, they look stunning, as they always do. It's a lot of work, you know, and with your understanding it's a lot of work, you'll understand why the pricing structure is as it is. You know, I charge £120 for a fret level crown and polish with a setup, but it is time consuming, it's a lot of work. But yeah, but look at the results. And these frets are not going to need levelling again, not for many, many years anyway. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to get the neck back on the guitar. I'm probably not going to film the setup. Yeah, what do you really need to know about setting a guitar up? I set dozens of them up all the time, and there's loads of videos on there. This is all about getting these 2 guitars done. So they're supposed to be going out today, but I let Glenn know yesterday that I was not going to get them done because I had a lot to do last night. I had a church thing on last night. We're running an alpha course at our church at the moment. That's Tuesday nights. So I'm normally knock off at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. I forgot about that. So he's going to have his guitars back tomorrow. So I'm going to get the neck back on. We'll get some strings on, get it set up, and I'll bring you back and we'll tie this video up. Guys, we are all done and all strung up, all set up, intonation done. Some of the strings were out by quite a bit. Considering this had been to Richtown Music and been set up for 40 quid, pathetic. They'd not even looked at the frets. How many frets were on level on here? Was it 10 or 11? Can't remember. But the intonation also wasn't done. The action, they got the action pretty much right, but what can you do with a guitar with a locking nut on it? You can't do a lot to change the action. We're just under 2mm on the bass side, 1.5mm on the treble side there. Tuned down to drop B. These Duncan pickups, by the way, they're not Seymour Duncan, they're Duncan Design, that's why we've only got Duncan on them. And I'll be straight up honest, you can tell they're not Seymour Duncans because I've got Seymour Duncan black hats on my white Explorer and they are next level. They're really high gain, even on clean, you can't get a clean sound out of this guitar because these pickups are about high gain, but on high gain, through my PV6505 mini head over there, yeah, you get a good sound, but it isn't brilliant. I would certainly be looking at upgrading the pickups in this. I don't like these pickups at all. But that said, it's what it is. It's a light guitar, it looks the part, and it's all about what the owner thinks. We've given it a complete setup, fret level, recrown and polish, all the fingerboard, complete setup, set the intonation on the bridge, set the bridge, set the amount, set the relief. We can't do anything with the nut, that's what it is. Checked every nut, bolt and screw. And that is all done. Just need to pop in this truss rod cover, just to give it a little dib there with the screwdriver, push it over, and there you go, that's brilliant. I love that, it's a nice touch. This little slider that slides off so you can get out the truss rod. But there it is. I do believe it is, well I know it is, it's a Mick Thomson signature guitar. It's a Ibanez MTM-20, made in Indonesia. Great colour. I've got all white gloss Explorer, an Edwards made in Japan by ESP that I had refinished in white, and it's stunning. I've got an ebony board on it, everything's all blacked up and it looks great, and this is reminiscent of that, so I do like the colour. For me, the guitar's too light, I don't like the pickups, but it's not my guitar, so I don't have to suffer with it. But it's all ready, it's all done, it's going back to Liam, I'm sure he'll be happy with it. I still recommend a pickup swap on that. Stick some EMGs on there or some real Seymour Duncan Blackouts on this will be absolutely killer. It'll be brilliant. Another thing I've done is I've set the fine tuners more or less all in the centre, so we've got adjustment up and down. What we do is we really stretch the strings. I've stretched these strings 4 or 5 times, as you've seen. So locking them down, we've got adjustment both ways. That's what you want to see. So that is it. It is all done. It's ready to go back. Glyn and Liam are coming to pick these up on Friday. It's now Wednesday, so I've got a day off tomorrow really. So I've got quite a few of my own guitars to work on tomorrow. So that's what exactly what I am going to do. But that is it. This is finished. One thing left for me to do before I go is that remind you of my website, fretfriend.co.uk, even better, facebook.com/ng17, that's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I am Victor, I'm your fret friend, and until next time, as always, God bless you, be good to each other, and I'll see you in the next one.